And to help us explain it even more, like how can you take what we're doing with Ecamm, even with us streaming here, and take it to the next level if you are a remote producer? And we have someone, a guest today, that is doing just that, that is leveling up the live. She is a professional, I guess, streamer, and I am so happy to have her on today. Brent, I'm trying my best not to be like a super fanboy, so I'm gonna let you do a lot of the talking because I just may be just glazing at the camera. Okay, so
We've had a
help
lot of
me out.
big guests over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't think they get any bigger than Stephanie Liu.
So let's check Stephanie Lou out right now. If you guys will welcome her to the stream show. How are you doing?
Hey, can you hear me just fine? Because I switched everything on my end. Is it okay? Is it good?
Listen, you
You
sound
sound great.
great. You sound great. And you
Okay.
got ears in today, so everything is working out. Thank you so very much for coming to the stream show.
Thanks for having me. It's so funny because it's a Sunday, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do something on a Sunday.
Yeah, you have us on a Sunday. You have us on a Sunday, and we are here, and we're so thankful that you would come and be a part of our show. And so thank you so very much. So I want to get right into it because of the time, Stephanie. When we've talked about Ecamm, how are you professionally using Ecamm in your setup?
Oh my. A myriad of ways, to be very honest with you. So, quick background on me is that I am I'm a digital marketer by trade. So, I'm an ad agency veteran, spent the last decade and a half deep in the trenches of agency life. And so, for me, I've always used Ecamm to launch a show, not only just for me, but for my clients as well. So, that was like really like the big thing. And then came speaking engagements. So now that we know that majority of these conferences are now done virtually, as you guys were talking about earlier about like sound effects, overlays, and all the things, right? There's so many cool things that you can do with Ecamm, but then even from that, this is like the evolution, right? This is like the evolution of my career thanks to Ecamm. And so now I'm able to remote live produce shows for other clients. And like I've had clients like NASA, like I've actually
Wow.
coached
Wow.
astronauts in outer space, like, hey, this is what you got to do to make sure that your audio and your video looks, amazing. We've done things like graduations, and we've done things with even Ibram X. Kendi, who is the best-selling author for How to Be an Anti-Racist. Just so many different
Wow.
projects that I've been able to meet thanks to Ecamm, honestly, because that has really been the difference that makes the difference as far as like production quality. And not only that, but I got to like hang out and meet with you guys. So
I
yay!
know it, right? That is the
Yeah.
cool thing,
Like,
hanging out
oh
with
my
us.
God!
So how does Ecamm make it easier for you to produce, these type of shows? NASA and space. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's one of those things where majority of my clients are always asking for like, what is possible? What can we do? And, they're so used to just here's like a PowerPoint show. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You could do graphics. You can do sound effects. The fact that I can switch scenes with a Stream Deck is absolutely amazing. There's so many different elements that I could bring into it. One thing that I didn't even mention is that we are now even using Ecamm to produce company meetings, like annual shareholder meetings. These are things where your shareholders, your investors want to have something that looks and sounds different. And so by having Ecamm, again, it's just taking it to the next level. And these are things that they just haven't even seen before. Like no
Right.
matter how large the Ecamm group is, there's still people that don't know what Ecamm is. And it's like, well, let me show you.
That's cool. That's cool. So a lot of the Ecamm guys here are watching, and they're thinking, "Wow, I know how to use." Definitely, right? Hello to everybody. I mean, we have people from all over the place. Rocky Nash has said hello to you. Of course, Kevin Lyons has said hello to you. Of
Kevin
course, he says
Lyons,
hello.
yes.
And our guy, Rob Balasabas, who we all get a chance to see a little bit later, he says hello. There's so many people here, even a young lady by the name of Ross who says good day from South Australia. So we are
Wow.
all over
Good
the
day,
world
man.
right now. Hey, Brent, I'm not saying this for you to get nervous.
Okay.
And I guess I'm
I'm
talking
not
to
nervous.
myself
I
so
think
I
this is
don't get
great.
nervous. So we
I
do
think
have
this is great.
It is really good. So we do have a lot of people that would like to be remote producers. They understand Ecamm. They have the
Yeah.
slides. They have the setup, and they want to reach out to clients. How can they best do that? How can they market themselves to people that need their services?
Are you asking me how I do it?
Well, how
Okay.
you do it, or how can they do it? You know,
Yeah.
I know how to
Okay.
do it. How can I do it? And of course, you've made like who would have a Rolodex? And I'm showing my age, Brent, when I say Rolodex. But who would have connections with board members to even say, "Hey, I can't remote produce this for you"?
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to share with you a couple of things, and you can pull me back which way that you want to. The first time that I started live streaming and I wanted to speak at events, like even at conferences, if you know how to do Facebook advertising, I targeted event organizers. So I hired people that actually, no, I targeted people that actually had the title of planning events. So event planners, people that were a part of associations where they hire speakers. Okay. That was the first way that I was able to get on people's radars to speak at conferences.
Got you.
Then, how that eventually turned into doing this for board meetings is you would try to see if you're connected to someone on LinkedIn that's already on a board, right? And then invite them to see your show, because once they see that you are capable of doing something that's absolutely amazing, at that point, if they feel like, oh my gosh, 6 degrees of separation from them, then they're going to reach out to you. That's an opportunity for you where you could really say like, hey, this is something that I can do. Here is a reel that I've created. Like, I think Kevin and I have actually talked about this. Like, show them what it is that you've done. I have several case studies where when we were doing investor meetings, a client showed me like what he had. And I was like, yay, that's awesome. You have a green screen. Yay.
Right, right.
And then it's like, well, look what else that we can do for you, right? So to paint that as a better picture for you, it was like a slide. And then he was behind a green screen and it was like this little tiny person. That was him. And I was like, how are you going to show your authority if you're like the smallest little person on the screen, right?
I like that.
You have to have that same level of authority. And so you've seen it in the Ecamm community. Loria has the template. I think most people these days are using it now, where you're leveraging the camera overlay. So you have like a bigger camera of you, like in the tall position, and then you have your slides.
Right.
That to them was just like, oh, that's different.
Right.
Because when you have these board meetings, you want something where they're really, really going to pay attention, and being able to communicate with impact so that way you can increase your influence is going to be absolutely powerful.
I like that. Brent, I just would have never thought about Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads to advertise myself. I'm thinking, man, who would I know? But sometimes you use networking and sometimes you use marketing ads. Like, that's a
Yeah,
great idea.
It's
And-
one
and
of those
some-
things too. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. I was going to say sometimes it doesn't have to be, we don't have connections to NASA astronauts like Stephanie, but I just got through speaking at a local for agritourism conference that I usually speak at in real life, and we had to do it all virtually, and I, of course, had Ecamm. So I was able to do that, and I got paid, and it was a great gig, and so there's a lot of things in your local market you should probably look into to use these same things. But if how would you think is a good way to pitch these kind of ideas to potential clients, even in their own market?
Oh, yeah. There a lot of things that I've done that has worked out. If I've watched a presentation that they've done, then I would reach out and be like, hey, I absolutely love what you did. Here are a couple of ideas. If you're interested, then go ahead and reach out to me. I'm the type of person where it's like, I don't mind if people say no to me, right? I'd rather say, this is what I'm capable of doing, and I'd rather have them just straight up and say no if they don't want it, and if they want it, say yes, right? Because the no's can step aside, and then I could focus on the ones that really want to work with me. Does that make sense? Because
makes
I
a
have
lot
to
of
put
sense, and
myself, I have to put myself out there. No one else is going to do it for me. I'm not going to rely on, like Doc or Diana, like to be like, oh no, you should meet Stephanie. No. I'm going to be out there promoting myself
Right.
really
Well,
at that
one of-
point.
one of the things I think that you've said it, like, probably, I'm keeping track of what you're saying. You probably said it about 5 or 6 times, and if people haven't paid attention, is sometimes you never said, you know what, your lighting's terrible, your green screen's terrible. You start everything with, man, this is great, but it could be a little bit better, or it could be so much better. And I think that's really key, is that letting, don't shoot people down. Don't say your stream sucks, you need a better camera, you need more light. Listen to what she's saying to everybody, is affirm that they're doing a great job, then just help them level up. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a single person in this world that doesn't want to be told that they're doing a good job, right? So
That's true. That's
for
true.
anyone that is just starting out, it's like, hey, that was great. If you want to try something else, here are a couple of suggestions. And at that point, you've already won them, because you're like, oh, yeah, because remember your very first live stream? You're probably freaking out about like what people were thinking and what they were going to say. And if you're that one person that's like rooting for them and saying, let me help you get to the next level, at that point, they're like, yes, can I please be under your wing? Let me be a part of your circle.
I think that's
amazing.
awesome. I think that's awesome that you're sharing this. Now, I am a person that, I'm sorry, I'm still a fanboy. I watch what you do in the Ecamm network, and if you can remind people what days you come on with your showrunner, because I want to be sure that not only do Brent and I get the information, but everybody else could actually take notes during your session, because it is so good. So can you kind of tell us the shows and your show time with Ecamm?
Yeah. So one of the shows that I do with Ecamm is Showrunner's Secret from the Set, and it's all about how you can have a successful remote live video production. Right now, it's every other Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, so 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And honestly, it was a conversation that Katie and I had where she's like, what is this stuff that you're doing? Right?
Right.
And I was like, well, this is what I do. I mean, the first time I even told Ken and Glenn, I was like, hey, so I'm remote live producing this thing. This was like 2 years ago. And Glenn was like, that's not a thing. I was like, I'm making it a thing. So this
Right.
is what I want Ecamm to do.
Wow.
Right? And he's like, I didn't know anyone was doing that. And so it's an opportunity for me to really share with you the whole entire process, the mindset that goes into remote live video production, how you can win clients, how you could win them over with your structures, your storyboards, and really be the difference that makes the difference in their business. So I love that you say like you take notes, because I'm really just like, you know what, if you show up, I'm going to answer all your questions, right? Like here it is, because I'm not going to any conferences anytime soon. So if you ask me, by all means, here you go. Here are the templates. Here are the things that I'm working on. These are barriers or objections that you might actually get from a client, and this is how you can overcome them.
That's awesome. There was one thing, Brent, I don't know if you caught it on her show last time, but you actually have some type of a software. I think it's this showrunner software that you could actually, it'll help you start your show or end your show with different terms. So
Yeah.
you're not saying the same thing every time you open up your show or end your show. Can you kind of explain what that is and how people can get it if they want it?
Absolutely. It's the video script maker, and pretty much what it does is that it will auto generate for you the intro, the hook, the teaser, the question of the day, and all the things that you can do in order to engage your audience, just like my daughter who likes to sneak in every now and then.
Oh, that's super
And
cool.
yeah, and so the video script maker, what's so brilliant about it is over the last 5 years or so, we've worked with clients. I've done multiple shows where it's like, how am I going to open this? I don't want to say the same thing every single time.
Right.
Right? And so with the click of a button, you're just boop, it will give you a new suggestion. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like if I'm staring at a blank page, I'm like, I don't know what to say. Right? But if you
Right.
give me a prompt, if you give me a question, the brain automatically wants to answer it. So the video script maker is going to get like all those creative juices flowing.
Wow.
The best way to find it, honestly, is lightscamera.live/script. If you know Doc, ask Doc. He's an affiliate. If anyone wants to be an affiliate, honestly, just hit me up. Because it's one of those things that I find that everyone wants to have in their tool set. Once you have a client and you're like, oh, do you need help planning out your run of show? Let me generate one for you. Boom, done.
I love it. I love it. Brant, we can't let her go. She's talking about
I'm
affiliate
putting in the
programs. Like,
chat now. Yes, we will.
how
I,
can,
I
how
just
can
want to say, I just want to say that I I know Stephanie. We chat a lot, and usually it's just like myself. We're at home doing virtual school with my kids, and she's doing all this while she is doing virtual learning with her kindergartner. Right? She's in kindergarten, and
Yes.
so don't no excuses. You can do this now remotely from your home and work in your family, and it's okay if the kids bust in every now and again, or
Yeah.
it's a new world, and I just am very impressed with the way you've pivoted and been able to go forward. And I noticed the book on the shelf behind you because I have that book, so I'm gonna have to
Oh, yeah.
mail it to you and get you to sign it for me. So
I would be more than happy. Yeah. And more stuff in the works, to be very honest with you. Keep an eye. This
go
whole
ahead and
live streaming stuff, remote live video production is definitely blowing up.
go ahead and tell us about your book, so if people want to know more about Facebook advertising and social media.
Yeah, so the book is Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing. It's published by Entrepreneur Press. Yes, the Entrepreneur. So I was like, oh my God, this is a thing. But it's everything about how to develop a social media strategy. It's more than just posting and ghosting on social. It's about having a defined outcome of what it is that you want to achieve and the steps to actually get there. So, auditing your social media channels, figuring out what is actually moving the needle in your business, right? Then developing a strategy, putting together KPIs and measurements, and then understanding how you could leverage paid media, live streaming, analytics, all the things in there. That's why it's called the Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing. But you could find it pretty much on Amazon. You could just type in my name, Stephanie Liu, or Ultimate Guide to Social Media, and then you'll see myself as well as my other co-authors pop up too. It's good. It's fun. I
that's
wish I could have more time with you guys. I'm
I
like, I'm
know,
like
right?
finally in it now.
I know, right? I do have one more question before we get out of here, Stephanie. As you can tell through the comments are going really, really fast, and people are saying hello, asking questions, and all of this. How does it feel? Like, did you go into this saying, you know what? I believe I could lead in this industry of streamers and teaching people how to do this. Your status amongst the other streamers, like people look up to you. People talk about you. People are excited when we say, hey, we have Stephanie Liu coming to our show, the Stream Guys. They're here because of you. So I thank you so very much for that. But how does that make you feel?
Oh, it's a blessing. Honestly, it really is a blessing. Like I said, I don't come from like a broadcast or production background. I was never like a really big audiophile. I was the geek in the marketing department,
Wow.
that had like passions about like, hey, I want to do video and I want to try this. And being able to take my stumbling blocks, right? Everything that I learned from live streaming and now being able to develop shows, taking those stumbling blocks and turning them into stepping stones for the next generation of live streamers, that's my legacy.
That's wow.
That's what I want to give, right? When I think about when I first started, like, oh God, all the negative thoughts, all the things are like, but you're not in broadcasting, you're not
Right.
this, you're not that. I want to inspire like the next generation of live streamers. Like, you don't have a DSLR? That's fine, because it's not always about the gear. It's about how to get the gears working up here. You know what I'm talking
Wow.
about?
Yes.
It's the
Love
mindset,
it.
and it's about how you can motivate the masses, increase your impact, your influence, and your income just by using Ecamm,
Right.
your webcam. There's so much possibilities out there, and I'm just so blessed to have this opportunity to be here with you guys.
Well, we thank you. Brant, like what she says, what we say, man. It's like we're in tune.
It's the motivation. I think one of the things I love about Stephanie's content is, I think we all talk about gear. We talk about lights, and Doc does a great job, and Loria does a great job. But Stephanie's kind of, a lot of stuff that I get from her is the business development side.
Right.
How to reach out to the clients, how to actually make money doing this, not just posting and ghosting. That's the one I'm going to remember for a long time because that's awesome. But I think that a lot of times, we've said that to a lot of people that are going live just to go live, and you're practicing and you're learning, but now's the time to step up and step out and, look at Showrunner and learn how to turn this into a business and be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Stephanie, thank you so very much for coming by. I love what you shared today. You leveled us all up just with the few minutes
Aw.
that we've had you here. And I'm a fanboy for a while today. So thank you so very much.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, the both of you are absolutely awesome. And honestly, if you guys ever need anything, if you have any questions, if there's any way that I could support you along your journey, please feel free to reach out because it's one of those things about the Ecamm Live community where once you join, you're not flying solo. You know,
That's
you've
right.
got the whole crew rooting for you. That's the craziest thing is when you realize Katie, Glenn, Caleb, all of them, Doc, Diana, you guys,
Yeah,
everyone is rooting for you. We all want to see you succeed, and you don't find that very often
that's
in a
true.
community. And so leverage it. Yeah, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Brant, I tried my best to kind of keep my cool, Brant. I really did. Did I do okay?
No, I think Stephanie's great. I mean, I've there's a couple times a week that I'll just, hit her up with a question on Facebook and, message her and she'll just answer and, and help me out. So I think she's awesome. And, one of the things she said was, the community is what matters.
Right.
I'm reading a new book by my marketing hero is Seth Godin, and his new book is about creatives, making creative content. And he said, find a cohort, find a group of people that do what you do. Picasso, they had a group. Musicians, they get, there's these groups of people that support each other. And I think Ecamm, the group, is the reason that I use Ecamm. Right? There's a lot of software.
Right.
There's a lot of software that's more expensive or cheaper, and I've had a lot of it. But it was the community that keeps me, it is the community that keeps me in Ecamm because you can always get help.
That's right. And, we're one of the ones, Brent, that are helping, like between the two of us. We do our own fair share of talking and encouraging and saying yes, no, or maybe to some setups. And that's what community is all about. So if you're
Right.
in the Ecamm network and not on the Ecamm Live community, go to the group page, sign up, and be a part of the community. And I guarantee you, it will be one of the things that helps you on your journey. So thank you so very much, Stephanie. Lights, camera, action. Join the stream team with Strick and Brant and be a part of the Stream Network. Our goal is really simple. We're here to help you succeed.